Wednesday, 6 April. The Gap News this morning. Broadcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah. Good morning. First, the headlines. COVID-19, no Omicron XE cases in Malaysia so far, says Khairy. Lucky break at Genting as man survives 80-meter plunge down ravine. World Bank estimates Malaysia's economy to grow 5.5% this year. Police confirm death of Malaysian who was allegedly marijuana crop sitter. Cops fine retired cop 6,500 ringgit for shooting cat, firing gun in public. Ukraine war, Zelensky accuses Russia of worst crimes since World War II. Shanghai Covid lockdown extended to entire city. And Malaysian shuttler Jin Wei makes smashing return in Korea Open. And now the news in full. Malaysia has so far not recorded any cases of the new Omicron XE variant, a new mutation of the COVID-19 virus, which is more contagious than any of the other variants, says Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin. He said the ministry was currently following the developments and studying the characteristics of this variant that has been reported in other countries, including Thailand, in order to identify its infectivity rate and seriousness to patients. The World Health Organization (WHO) has reportedly warned about the Omicron XE, a new mutation of the Omicron variant, which is more contagious than the other COVID-19 variants. WHO, through its latest report, states that this variant is a recombinant strain, a mutant hybrid of Omicron BA.1 and BA.2. A man miraculously survived after his car plunged 80 meters down a ravine at kilometer 5.6 of Jalan Genting Highlands near the Hilltop Resort here Tuesday. The 48-year-old man sustained injuries to his neck and chest in the accident that occurred at 9 a.m. He was rescued and taken to Selang Hospital in Selangor for treatment, News Straits Times reported. According to Bentong District Police Chief Zaiham Muhammad Kaha, police were alerted by motorists that a car that was heading to the Hilltop Resort went off the road and plunged into a ravine not far from where a slope construction site was located. Malaysia's economy is expected to grow 5.5% this year, driven by recovery in domestic demand, expansion in exports, and the reopening of borders, according to a World Bank report. It said the external sector will continue to lend its support, especially that of electrical and electronics goods and medical rubber gloves. However, it cautioned that growth could slow to 4.8% if global conditions worsen amid the Russia-Ukraine conflict, financial tightening in the United States, and structural slowdown in China. Other risks include a worsening in supply chain disruptions and the emergence of more severe COVID-19 variants. Police have confirmed media reports on the death of a Malaysian citizen in New South Wales, Australia. In a statement, Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Director Dato' Ayuhan Maidin Piche said Australian authorities had found the remains of a person who was believed to have been murdered more than a year ago. He said checks revealed that the victim was a Malaysian citizen from Sarawak who was aged 25. Ayub said the victim was believed to have entered Australia in 2016 with a tourist visa and was offered a job as a crop sitter for a foreign syndicate involved in cultivating drugs. A retired policeman was fined 6,500 ringgit by the Selang Magistrates Court Tuesday for committing mischief by shooting a tomcat after it ate his chickens and for discharging a firearm in a public place. Magistrate Nik Fadil Nik Azlan imposed the fine on Zainal Abidin Muhammad Zain after the man changed his plea to guilty during the cases mentioned on Monday. On the charge of mischief, the court ordered him to pay a 5,000 ringgit fine or 6 months jail and impose a 1,500 ringgit fine or 2 months jail for the second count. Zainal was charged with intentionally killing the cat using a shotgun in his orchard in Kampong Setia, Kuang, Selangor at 6:40 p.m. on July 1, 2020, under Section 428 of the Penal Code that carries a jail term of up to 3 years or a fine or both. He was also charged with discharging a firearm in a public place using the same weapon at the same time and place. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky outlines a list of alleged Russian atrocities in a speech to the UN Security Council. Showing a gruesome video, he alleges civilians were shot in the streets, thrown into wells and crushed by tanks. Scenes in Bucha near Kiev, where civilian corpses were strewn in the streets, are being repeated in other parts of the country, he says. Russia denies any war crimes, and its UN ambassador repeats debunked claims about bodies in Bucha. The European Commission proposes a new round of sanctions against Russia, including a ban on coal imports. UK PM Boris Johnson issues a video on social media aimed at the Russian public, telling them their troops are committing atrocities. Chinese authorities have extended their lockdown of Shanghai to cover all its 25 million people after a fresh surge in COVID cases. Initially, there had been separate measures for the eastern and western sides, but the whole city is now subject to indefinite restrictions. Shanghai is the largest single city to be locked down to date. The important financial hub has battled a new wave of coronavirus infections for more than a month. Reported cases have risen to more than 13,000 a day, although the numbers are not high by some international standards. And now for some sports news. Former world junior champion Go Jin-wei marked her return to the badminton court in staggering fashion by upsetting Japan's Asuka Takahashi in the opening round of the Korea Open Badminton Championships 2022 on Tuesday. The world number 127, who has turned professional and last played in the competition in June last year, took 53 minutes to beat Takahashi, who is ranked 52nd best, 21-19, 16-21, 21-17 at the Palmer Stadium in Suncheon. The 22-year-old Penang-born shuttler will next meet Lee Soo-yeon of South Korea, who trashed Israel's Ksenia Polikarpova 21-7, 21-8. To end the bulletin, here are the headlines again. COVID-19, no Omicron XE cases in Malaysia so far, says Khairy. Lucky break in Genting as man survives 80-meter plunge down ravine. World Bank estimates Malaysia's economy to grow 5.5% this year. Police confirm death of Malaysian who was allegedly marijuana crop sitter. Court fines retired cop 6,500 ringgit for shooting cat, firing gun in public. Ukraine war, Zelensky accuses Russia of worst crimes since World War II. Shanghai Covid lockdown extended to entire city. And Malaysian shuttler Jin-wei makes a smashing return in Korea Open. This has been the Gap News this morning, Wednesday, 6 April, with reports from Free Malaysia Today, The Vibes and the BBC World Service. The Gap News is also available on the internet news portal Melaka Hari Ini. We hope you found the bulletin informative. We certainly welcome hearing from you. If you do have the opportunity, please do write in. We would certainly love to hear from you. Podcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah.